Friends, let's talk about 2008. Remember that? The housing bubble burst, the stock market crashed. It was a year that left an indelible mark on our collective memory. The financial world was turned upside down, and the ripple effects were felt far and wide. People's 401ks looked like they'd been through a paper shredder. Years of savings and investments vanished in the blink of an eye, leaving many wondering how they would ever recover. It was a financial apocalypse, the kind of event that shakes the very foundation of our economic system. Businesses shuttered, jobs were lost, and the future seemed uncertain for millions. And when things get desperate, people get, well, desperate. They start looking for any way out, any lifeline that might pull them back from the brink. Unfortunately, this desperation can make them vulnerable. Enter the vulture's scam artists preying on those already hurting. These predators saw an opportunity to exploit the vulnerable, offering false hope and empty promises in exchange for what little people had left. That's where Operation Broken Trust comes in. This initiative was a beacon of hope in a dark time, aiming to bring justice to those who had been wronged. This wasn't just some guys in a basement with a fax machine. This was a coordinated effort by the FBI, a full-scale operation to root out fraud and protect the public. This was the FBI saying enough is enough. They were determined to put an end to the exploitation and bring the perpetrators to justice. They launched a massive crackdown on investment fraud in 2010, targeting the crooks who saw the financial crisis as their personal gold mine. These fraudsters thought they could get away with it, but the FBI had other plans. But here's the thing about financial crime: it's sneaky, it's quiet. It doesn't make headlines like a bank robbery, but its impact can be just as devastating. It doesn't leave bloodstains, just bank statements that make you want to cry. The evidence is often hidden in plain sight, buried in complex financial documents that most people don't understand. So, how do you fight something so insidious? How do you bring these criminals to justice when their crimes are so well hidden? Buckle up, because we're about to dive deep into the world of Operation Broken Trust. We'll explore the strategies, the challenges, and the triumphs of this monumental effort to restore faith in our financial system. Remember that desperation we talked about? That's fuel for fraudsters. When people are desperate, they become vulnerable, and that's exactly what these scammers are looking for. They thrive on fear and uncertainty. People were scared, looking for ways to recover their losses. The stock market was volatile, and their savings were dwindling. They were searching for any glimmer of hope, any opportunity to regain what they had lost. They were ripe for the picking. Scammers could sense their desperation from a mile away. They knew exactly what to say and how to say it to lure these individuals into their traps. And boy, did the scammers come out to play. They saw an opportunity and seized it with both hands. They were relentless, targeting anyone and everyone they could. They promised unrealistic returns, guaranteed profits, the whole shebang. They painted a picture of easy money and quick gains, making it seem like a no-brainer. They preyed on people's fears and anxieties, whispering sweet nothings about safe investments and once-in-a-lifetime opportunities. They made it sound so convincing, so foolproof. Victim? But it wasn't just desperation, it was also a sense of betrayal. The financial crisis also created a sense of distrust in traditional institutions. People felt let down by the very systems that were supposed to protect them. People were angry at Wall Street, angry at the banks. They felt like they had been cheated and left to fend for themselves. So, when some slick operator offered an alternative, a way to stick it to the man, it was tempting. It felt like a chance to take control, to fight back against the system that had failed them. The stage was set for a fraud epidemic. With desperation and distrust in the air, scammers had the perfect environment to thrive. And thrive they did, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. Now, let's meet the good guys, the financial crime fighters of the FBI. These aren't your average cops. They're financial whizzes, forensic accountants, and tech experts who speak the language of fraud. They understand balance sheets, they can sniff out a Ponzi scheme from a mile away, and they're relentless in their pursuit of justice. FBI agent: the FBI's Financial Crimes Unit doesn't just react to fraud, they proactively investigate emerging trends. Think of them as the financial world's early warning system. They track suspicious activities, analyze market data, and connect the dots to identify potential threats before they blow up. Let's talk about the scams themselves. These aren't just petty crimes, they're elaborate schemes designed to deceive and defraud. We're talking about classic Ponzi schemes where early investors get paid with money from new recruits. It's a house of cards that eventually collapses, leaving most people with empty pockets. We're talking about affinity fraud, where scammers target specific communities, churches, ethnic groups, you name it, exploiting their trust. They infiltrate these groups, gaining trust and then betraying it in the worst way possible. And let's not forget about those high-yield investment programs, promising returns so ridiculously high, they make your eyebrows do a disappearing act. These scams lure in victims with the promise of quick and easy money, but it's all smoke and mirrors. These scams are like cockroaches. They come in all shapes and sizes, but they all have one thing in common. They're designed to separate you from your money. They adapt, they evolve, and they are incredibly hard to eradicate. The FBI knew these scams inside and out. They didn't just react to these crimes, they anticipated them. They studied the tactics, the language, the psychological manipulation. They understood the mind games that scammers play, the emotional triggers they pull. They were like the Sherlock Holmes of finance, always one step ahead of the game. With their expertise, they could dismantle these schemes piece by piece, bringing the perpetrators to justice and protecting the public from financial ruin.